Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes.
You ready to dive right in today? Feeling good? All right. What's with that face?
I dived.
Hey, I want to share something before we started. My mom actually sent me a text yesterday, and she's like, could you do me a favor and ask Tori where she got her necklace yesterday? She looks very pretty. And I was like, Mom, did you start drinking? Like, what's going on? Tori's very pretty. What conversation am I having here? So me and Tori were on a text conversation last night, finding my mom the necklace.
Yes.
Very
and then
cool.
he goes, this is the necklace? Yes.
I didn't want to point that out. I just thought it was
when the cameras go off.
Yeah, I thought it was just
Doesn't
comical.
stop.
So there you go, Ma. You're welcome. And Tori's very beautiful.
I'm beaming. I'm beaming.
All right, here we go. Kylie Jenner has revealed that she's changed her baby's name. Kylie recently shared a video on YouTube titled "To Our Son," showing images of everything from her ultrasound, showing off his shoe collection and his nursery. She also shared that her son's name isn't Wolf anymore. Because the name just didn't fit him, she didn't reveal what the new name is. The video started out very sweet. I was like, oh, the ultrasound to shoe collection? I was like, I was about to cry, and then I was like, okay, I'm not.
I'm done.
They're all dried up. What do we think about changing your baby? I think the baby's like 6 or 7 weeks old now, right?
Brooks' name was changed.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
Brooks, your husband.
Brooks, my husband, thank you. He was named after Jim Palmer, which I believe is an athlete, some kind of athlete, a baseball or golfer. And
baseball player, pitcher.
And my mother-in-law kept looking at him and go, this is not a Jim. And what's funny is my father-in-law was a sportscaster in Chicago, and so he had announced the name and everything, and everyone had been excited, and they changed it to Brooks Palmer after Brooks Robinson, the second base player, who's another baseball player.
I kind of like the change.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do
Fits
too.
his personality too.
You have to fit.
I like this for a different reason. I liked it for the fact that they decided on something and it wasn't working and they changed it. There's something about human beings where we're like, no, double down, stick to your guns. If you realize that this isn't working, go ahead and change. I know it's harder. It's easier to just stay with what you picked. But they both clearly kept saying to themselves and then out loud eventually, this is not the name for this child. And you can kind of feel it. And I do appreciate that they changed it. I'm sure they're getting pushback on social media. Who cares?
Well, people say they were bullied into changing it from social media. That people are like, Wolf.
I would think that people would expect a Wolf kind of name from two celebrities like that.
I mean, I think Apple really broke the mold. No, seriously, remember when Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin named their first daughter Apple, and everybody was like freaking out about it, and they were like, no, that's her name and that's who she is. And you know, people started to get a little bit more comfortable with the idea that, hey, maybe when you conceive a child and carry it for 9 months and they are your child, you can do whatever you want.
It's your business.
Well, they named their first baby Stormy, and that was kind of in the midst of the Stormy Daniels thing. So I thought a change was happening then.
That was at the same time.
I thought about that.
But I got to tell you, having a kid, and Al, you could attest to this, when you get that piece of paper and they're like, all right, you have to write the baby's name right here, and you're like, it's so much pressure because you don't think about changing it. You're like, this is it. You know what I mean? If it rhymes with something I'm not thinking of, my child's in trouble. You know what I mean?
You're so about that.
Yeah.
Your number one criteria is what does it rhyme with?
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah, your kid comes home from 5th grade like, thanks a lot, Dad. And you're like, oh, no, I didn't think of that one.
Oh, my God. Why didn't I think of... You know what I'm thinking. Fill in the blank. All right, so there's a petition going around to remove Kanye West as a Coachella headliner. Ooh, this is the latest. Kanye last performed at the music festival back in 2019 and is slated to perform next month, but a petition claims Kanye's social media attacks against Kim and her boyfriend Pete Davidson means he shouldn't be able to play at the festival. So far, the petition has nearly 30,000 signatures on it. What do we think about this petition from just random person and just random people signing it?
I don't. Has Kanye been convicted of any crimes that I don't know about?
No, but he has been accused of harassment in several ways. And I think that buying that house across the street and saying certain things to Trevor Noah and about Pete Davidson, the video, the animation, the call out, I think everyone has a right to protest in the way they see fit.
So that's the rule. Any entertainer that is accused of something that we don't like, they are off all shows. Is that?
No, I didn't say that.
What we're
I said you could start a petition.
I'm not trying to be combative.
No, I know. Me
I'm
neither.
always worried about setting the precedent for when somebody's accused of something, even though it looks like it's happening, but has not been convicted because it just sets a bad precedent for silencing and removing people without just in due process. That's what I worry about. I worry about please go ahead.
No, we had this conversation about the Grammys. You know, the Grammys is a live televised event, and I made the comment I could understand that being a questionable decision if they decided to have him on. There's a lot of things that could possibly go rogue. In this particular situation, you know, Coachella is a festival. It is something that constantly, you know, you anticipate some things going a little headline news. But also, let's just remember this when we're like, are we canceling? Are we counseling? It's fame or shame. It's all the same game. I don't know when people are going to realize that the energy that you put in, whether it's negative or positive, if you are asserting energy to anything or anyone, that is only creating a rise of the algorithm. It's only creating a mainstay of their voice, their name, their likeness. So who knows? Like, there have been people, I won't say who have been accused of starting petitions against themselves in order to get that type of notoriety.
Really?
So I don't really feel like this is like, oh, we're going against Kanye. It's like, we talking about it, aren't we? And that's all entertainers seemingly care about at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, I'm not trying to cancel Kanye. I hate that word. I think it's a brand that has been backfired and used against people that are trying to do well with it. But I do think it's up to the concert goers that they have every right to start a petition. Now, maybe you start a petition for, like, let's say, Doja Cat for some reason, right? 4 people are going to sign that. It's not going to get any traction. But a lot of people feel this way, and therefore you see the 30,000 signatures. There's nothing wrong with someone doing that. They have the right to do
How
so.
many people do you think that signed that petition or even made up that petition are going to Coachella?
Oh, very
What would you
few.
say?
That's a great question.
Yeah,
I would say
very
0.
few.
I would say
Very
0,
few.
right?
Yeah.
And you made a great point. The Grammys is on live television, right? CBS now, if Kanye says something, is at fault. They're going to have to pay fines. If you swear on national television, if I swear on this show,
It's on them, right?
My companies have to pay fines. It's not just on me, it's on the company, right? So that's going to be on CBS. At Coachella, you're selling tickets now.
Right.
And as a Coachella investor, if I'm running the show, I want Kanye at that show because I know it's going to be controversial. I know it's going to get eyeballs. And I know there's fans that want to support him even though what he's doing is wrong, right? But there's fans that are going to want to go out and support Kanye.
Yeah, I do have to go back to what Tori said because you brought up, for instance, out of nowhere, Doja Cat. And you said 4 people would sign. But do you know that last year, I think it was last year, people were calling for the cancellation of Doja Cat?
Oh, I'm sure. They're calling for it.
It was a huge thing on social media, and look at where she's at now.
Like it never happened.
Right. So that's why I'm saying it's like, yeah, we can absolutely protest, we can say all of these things, but at the same time, just understand that energy is energy.
I know, but at the same time, I just feel for people who have been stalked and harassed, and you're right, he hasn't been convicted, that energy does have to go somewhere. And if they think Coachella is also a brand and they don't think it should be ruined with someone that's made some really threatening, really death threats to certain people, that also should be heard. I understand we're not canceling Kanye.
I agree.
We're not canceling him.
But
it's got to be heard.
A lot of rappers, though. Like a lot of battle rappers, they do.
And there's been protests against them, right?
Yeah, I really hesitate to do this, but like when we start talking about these artists are weirdos.
No,
They're
this is more, dude.
People.
This is death threats.
And if you want to go back through artists and like who should have been performing, should Ike and Tina, would they be performing right now? What do we know about Ike Turner? Like, let's
that's
be honest.
hindsight. Like,
let's be
right
honest
now,
about. I'm saying
there's like a threat, and I think it's dangerous.
A threat to who?
To Pete, to Kim. I think it's
as far as we know, but he's not been convicted of anything yet, Tori, and we cannot set that precedent. What do I always say? We are not friends, and not us. We are friends.
Right.
But like in terms of like booking a concert, I'm not Kanye's friend. I'm looking at a spreadsheet.
Right.
When I put Kanye's name on the marquee, Erica, 100,000 people show up. That's all I care about. Now, whatever's going on with him and Pete Davidson, have fun with that. But if I'm booking a show, I want Kanye. If I'm booking a kids party, I don't want Kanye.
Well, if you're in Coachella, would you book Kid Rock? Like, there's certain things that at Coachella, there's a certain brand and a certain feeling at Coachella that they want. And I'm not quite sure that Coachella wants something that for a lot of females feels relatable and uncomfortable. And again, I'm not canceling him. I'm just saying perhaps he sits this one out. because of his behavior so far. It's just a consequence
He's already
of a
sitting
behavior.
out the Grammys. How much punishment does one person need for threatening
Maybe
words?
it's up to the fans because they're the ones generating this.
But you're not giving the
it
fans
is.
a chance.
Well,
If you don't put him anywhere, you're not getting fans a chance to support him, right? You're just signing this petition that none of these people are going to the concert at all. 0 of them.
But should that mean they don't have a right to?
They could voice their opinion, but they're not even going to the show. So they're just kind of stirring the pot, in my opinion.
Okay.
I totally see your point of view. I just don't know where it ends, to Al's point of view, right?
Yeah.
And to bring this thing full circle, if you want, I'll just wrap this thing up. Full disclosure. Leighton was going to be Doja Cat, and we changed it. It was for 6 months.
Doja Cat Schroeder.
So it didn't fit. It wasn't working. In hindsight, I wish we would have kept it.
Jeff, you want to end with a fun fact?
All right.
I took Erica to her first Doja Cat concert.
What?
Yes.
Oh, real fact.
That's a real fact.
Me, you, and Hannibal went to go see Doja Cat.
We did.
Yes,
It was
with
a
your
good.
husband, Anthony.
Yeah, we were
Badu.
dressed kind of like this, and we were acting like we just owned the club.
Yeah.
Hey, the older you get, that's a good look.
Yeah.
That's a good look. Coming up on DBL, good conversation, guys. A look inside JLo and Ben's new multi-million-dollar home in Bel Air. You won't believe the amount of bathrooms and bedrooms it has. And will Ukraine's president be at the Oscars? Find out why host Amy Schumer pitched the idea.
Closed captioning provided by
That Cash Me Outside.
Yeah,
you don't
we're
love that
talking
girl,
about.
you love
So this was what?
the social phenomenon.
4 years? 3 years or 4 years ago?
4 years ago. You got to always factor in COVID's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Just
So
go
we were
away.
in Miami.
Jeray went, so Jeray knows.
Yeah.
It was 3 years.
Yeah, so we were in Miami 3 years ago for National
NABJ.
Association of Black Journalists, and Al's like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna go meet up with his friends. So we end up at this nightclub, but we were just like, well, wait, we had just gone out to dinner. I'm like, geez, all this sounds. So we had just gone out to dinner with our senior executive producer at this really nice restaurant, and we had done a panel. So we were dressed like news anchors.
Like we're adults. We were dressed like we were down there looking for our daughter.
We walk into this nightclub, and it was like, everyone's like young, and this woman is performing, and she was great, but I had no idea who she was, and I never felt so old in my life. And I looked at Al's friend Hannibal, and I was like, is this the Cash Me Outside girl? And he looks at me, and he's just like, no. I'm like,
it wasn't.
okay. No, it's Doja Cat.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Cash Me Outside Girl is Bad Barbie. Or Bad Baby.
I don't
Bad
know.
Baby.
The song?
I just know her
No,
as the
that's
Cash
her
Me
name. That's her
Outside
rap
girl.
name. She's
Bad Baby?
She tours, bro.
Al's secretly obsessed with Cash Me Outside.
He brings her up.
He does a lot.
Just like, no, I think she was the first person that embraced your fame, shame, all the same game.
Yeah.
The Dr. Phil thing,
Yeah.
she took the hook, Cash Me Outside, made a song, made a trap song about it, got signed, and now has a career.
what does Cash
Like-
Me Outside mean?
Catch Me
Catch Me Outside.
Yeah, and
I thought it was
like-
Cash Me Outside.
Well, that's
Well,
kind
the
of
way
how
she
she
said
said
it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing with cash?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a short way to say
I'm
catch.
way
But
off.
yeah, I feel like she had a very modern, late 2000s
She
career.
hit right at the time that you could hit for doing something. Like she basically.
Welcome back to DBL. Amy Schumer said she pitched the idea of having Ukraine's President Zelenskyy beam in during the Oscars. Maybe via satellite. Better the word there?
Yeah.
Beam in. Amy was on the Drew Barrymore show and revealed she wanted to have Zelenskyy address the crowd during the show because there are so many eyes on the Oscars, but producers turned the idea down. Last week, Zelenskyy appeared in a video link live in front of Congress. He is also a former actor and comedian. So what do we think about this idea, him coming to the Oscars? Is that us getting too involved, or is that just us supporting what's going on there?
I don't think it's getting too involved. I think it's a show of support. And actually, I think it was a good idea.
Because he's an actor. I mean, it makes sense.
Right. I mean, it wouldn't be that far off to have him on. Plus, it's what's happening in the world today. So the idea that he would come in and say whatever needs to be said so that there's more attention on the conflict, I don't see that being a problem, but
I mean, think about the morale boost of the Ukrainians to see him on American Oscars. His show Servant of the People is now on Netflix. You guys can watch it. It was like the Veep of his day. He's an actor. It makes perfect sense, and it would be a big boon to Ukraine. And it wouldn't be actors giving political speeches about Ukraine. It would be the Ukrainian president, right? There's a big difference there.
Which I would like.
Which you would even like. And you said, like, wrap it up. So I think that would be a huge get. And because he's an actor, specifically, quite a normal thing.
I think we're being very pie in the sky about this guy.
I was going to push back, too, but I want to hear your point of view.
I get it. But we're forgetting about Mr. Putin over there, who will use that footage to say, this guy, I told you we're not really attacking Ukraine. Look, he's on TV. He's fine. He's chilling. He would take that footage no matter what it is, cut it up, and use it as propaganda.
That's fair.
We're in a war with this country, and this guy's on American television making jokes about Russians.
That's fair.
Y'all gonna take that? Look.
That's fair.
I don't think we know who we're dealing with. We're too nice up here. This is a person that will dismantle you and go have lunch. He is not here for the jokes. And the sooner we realize that, the sooner we'll be done with this situation and we'll act accordingly. Because we're still trying to play around with the Oscars. He ain't going to the Oscars.
What about this point of view that, let's just say it, the majority of Hollywood would lean liberal, right, towards Biden? What if he put something on air calling out President Biden, saying we need your support now, like he did in that press conference, putting the squeeze on Biden? Now, as celebrities, are you going to side with Zelenskyy, or are you going to put the squeeze on Biden too and kind of start that rhetoric in our country?
I think if the Academy even thought for a half a second he would say that, they would never have him on.
Well, maybe that's why they're not having him.
Yeah, and perhaps you're absolutely right. Perhaps they don't want him to somehow, but I would think it would be a taped thing. I think that would be very practiced if it were the Academy, in my opinion.
Yeah, interesting though.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good pitch. But Amy, I know how that goes. I got a great idea. Not so great. Coming up on DBL, JLo and Ben's big purchase. We've got all the deets on their new home in Bel Air. That's next.
We started seeing a lot more of these when the pandemic began. Those QR codes, the easy contactless way to access menus, meetings, and now charities. But our experts say after you click on it, use a critical eye to follow where the code goes. As the crisis in Ukraine continues, social media feeds have flooded with QR codes that send you to links to support Ukraine. But how do you know which ones are legit? Let's verify.
You don't want to be just scanning any QR code in this case.
Our sources are Kelsey Coleman from the Better Business Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, and the Federal Bureau of Investigations.
Here at the Better Business Bureau, we know that scammers follow the trends. They're seeing that QR codes are popping up. They're easy to use. People can easily just grab their phone. But what scammers love about them is that they hide the actual URL that they're directing the consumer to. And that's a problem because we are always urging people to make sure that that URL is legitimate. And it's hard to do when you're using a QR code.
Coleman went on to say your best bet is to go directly to the source's website and look for the warning signs, spelling mistakes, error messages, and pop-ups. The FTC also issued some tips on giving to Ukraine and says look at the fees and the timing, especially if you're donating through social media. And the FBI says don't download a QR scanner app because most phones have one built in through the camera. And don't make payments through a site you got from a QR code. Donate directly on the website. Now, another point to consider is where you find the QR code. For example, if it's sent in an unsolicited email, a text message, or a flyer, those are big warning signs, our experts say. With Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back. Move over. Fresh Prince, Jennifer Lopez, and Ben Affleck are reportedly moving to Bel Air. That's going on my highlight reel. According to TMZ, the couple is in contract to buy a massive $50 million mansion there. The home is 20,000 square feet and includes 10 bedrooms and 17 bathrooms, one of which is pink. We couldn't help but notice that there's some, the home's decor seems a little dated, but check out the gold tub that has JLo written all over it there.
Oh, I thought it literally did. I was like, wait.
When she moves in, it definitely will. Other highlights, this breakfast nook and kitchen with green ceilings and walls.
It's a cavern.
You mean ballroom with kitchen table?
You mean my home? Okay. We also noticed the overstuffed furniture in this sitting room. Too old-fashioned for you guys?
I don't hate it.
We gotta fix it.
What about the wallpaper?
Is a shell.
You liking that wallpaper?
Yeah, no.
It's very Beverly Hills
I think they're
Hotel.
gonna change.
You're right. I
this
think it's a
house.
shell. Of course, the mansion comes with a home theater for movie nights and the landscape
What a weird
around the
movie they put
pool.
on.
It looks all right. The landscape around the pool looks like it could be updated a little bit. But the house was on the market for $65. I think they're putting an offer of $50. That's what they're getting it for. If I know Ben, JLo, like I think I do, they're going to gut that house.
They're going to gut. You know him really well.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Matt yesterday.
You did?
Ben
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Got it. Yeah. Just get that schedule.
Yeah, I forget which guy.
They got a deal on the house for $50 million, $15 million off the total price, and they'll be in for about $65 million when it's all said and done because they're going to gut it and make it their own.
That's
done.
And what did they sell it for after putting in that much? They could sell it for a gazillion more because of what they could do.
Well, that and the celebrity tax.
Right.
Totally.
And also, can we just stop for a second and be like, who thought we were going to be doing this story when we first were like, they're being seen together? Like,
not Tori.
This kind of shows.
Were you on board?
Totally, and I really liked the Ben JLo reunion. I really liked them together. I think I'm very happy for that. I never liked her with A-Rod.
I don't know if I told this story. I was at the.
Sorry, just me.
No, I was at the Botanical Gardens. This is pre-COVID, and ran into a couple, watched DBL, and they hadn't seen each other in 30 years, found each other on Facebook, dated when they were kids, and were now married like 30-some years later. So I wonder if that's like a thing. Like maybe there are things that we liked about each other, but I was too mature, you were too mature, we went off, experienced life, and come back together. I think this could be a template for a lot of people.
Hey, never say never. Unless it's with me, then it's never.
Y'all were long distance for a while and then got together, you and your mister?
Anthony?
Yes.
Yeah, but we were dating and then we went long distance and then it got really serious when we were long distance. He needed me in his life. That's
Needed
right.
and needs.
Just move 1,000+ mile away, you'll get the ring.
Whatever it was meant to be with you two. That's for sure. Meant to be. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Feel downright painful to fill up these days. The national average price of a gallon is well over $4, and that's enough to make some people think twice about their gas-powered cars, while others claim it's still cheaper to drive a gas car. Let's break it down to cost per mile. Is it cheaper to go 1 mile in a gas-powered car than an electric car? Our sources are the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the U.S. Department of Energy, GasBuddy.com, and the California Air Resources Board. To keep things simple, we're going to look at national averages for both gas and electric cars. First, gas cars. The EPA says the average gas car gets just under 26 miles per gallon in 2021. GasBuddy estimated the national average price of gas on March 21st was $4.24 a gallon, which means it cost about 16 cents to go 1 mile. Next, electric cars. The DOE estimates the average electric car has a 66 kilowatt-hour battery and can travel 200 miles on a full charge. A study of electric vehicle owners' charging habits by the Energy Department found they pay an average of 15 cents per kilowatt-hour to charge. The California Air Resources Board says that would mean it costs roughly 5 cents to go 1 mile, meaning it's false that it's cheaper to go 1 mile in a gas-powered car than an electric car. So, where does some of the misinformation come from? We use national averages to do our calculations, but it comes down to how you're charging your car. For example, a Fox Business article with the headline that gas cars can be cheaper than electric ones looked at the cost to exclusively use fast chargers. These are the most expensive charging scenarios and can cost 3 times more than charging at home. Fox Business acknowledges at the end of their article that charging at home, as most drivers do, would make electric cars cheaper than gas cars. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
It can sound so distant, so abstract, interest rate hikes coming from the U.S. Treasury, but as our experts verified, you could start seeing impacts in your bank account this month. Let's verify. What are the 3 big ways interest rates affect Americans? Our sources are 2 economic experts, Bill Hoagland from the Bipartisan Policy Center and Peter Raschuti from Tulane University. To start, let's explain what the interest rates are that are going up.
Which is a rate at which the Federal Reserve loans the money to its member banks.
The interest rate on your loans uses it as a baseline, so when it goes up, all new loans go up. And you'll see it in 3 big ways.
They went on a loan to get a car, they went on got a mortgage.
First way is an increase in new loans, so new car loans and mortgages. The second way is credit card debt. That'll go up.
Absolutely. Now is the time to pay it off if you can do it.
And the third is that the rise of interest rates can rattle the stock market.
There's certain kind of stocks that get clobbered when interest rates go up, and certain ones don't. And the ones that get clobbered are growth stocks.
Any market expert will tell you this is a delicate balancing act. Raising rates can upset the market, but on the other hand, inflation is bad for costs. And this pandemic-related economic recovery is uncharted territory, so we'll still have to see how it plays out. With Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back. When you're out of town, the last thing that's on your mind is hitting the gym, but keeping up your exercise routine doesn't have to be a drag. There are simple ways to work out anywhere. That's today's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. So according to a personal trainer, the most beneficial workout that you can get in 10 to 15 minutes is breaking it up into 1 lower body exercise, 1 upper body exercise, and core workouts like push-ups, squats, and crunches. To get the most out of your workout, schedule your workout, warm up, add weight, like a pillow or a book, or maybe something more substantial, have fun, and cool down at the end. QB is a great way to get some quick exercise regardless of physical ability or age. Try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more.
I know people are laughing about the pillow and everything, but I remember being at Soul Cycle, and you're supposed to take your towel and just hold it straight ahead while
it's hard.
And then put it in like it is. Your arms are on fire, so it doesn't take a lot. When you have to extend your arms for any reason, even with this pillow, you'll feel it.
Feels like a Tory workout.
I use real weights, and I do it in my front room, and I do it on an app, and I have 91 to go, and I'm on 18 out of the 91.
Good for you.
Thank you so much.
Remember when you used to do the workout at your desk?
It's the same weights.
She's moved on up.
It's the same weights.
Hey, those weights, I do, what is it, with the yoga with the weights?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Because it's so hard. I mean, even little ones will make it.
All right. Well, I had a shout out to give. I want to give a shout out to our friend, Jonathan Bennett, who tied the knot with his groom. Shout out. There you go right there. And also a shout out to Lindsey Granger. Whoa.
Co-hosting On The View.
On The View, so check it out. She's going to be on again tomorrow, and I don't know if she'll ever be back here. But we love you, Linz. Good luck.